Adventure Week is returning to Pokemon Go, and in this video I will be going through all of the details for the event, including which Pokemon have boosted shiny rates and how to get them. I'll also be going through some tips and which event Pokemon are worth focusing on. So the event runs from the 2nd of August at 10 AM until the 12th of August at 11:59 PM. There will also be a Team Go Rocket Takeover portion of the event from August 8th at 12 AM until August 12th at 11:59 PM. And there'll be a Shadow Raid weekend during the Takeover portion of the event from August 10th at 6 AM until the 11th at 10 PM. More on the rocket part of the event later on in the video. The bonuses for the event will be 2 times XP for spinning Pokestops, 5 times XP for spinning a Pokestop for the first time. You'll also get 2 times XP for hatching Pokemon, and you'll have an increased chance to encounter shiny Cranidos, Shieldon, Turtuga, Archon, Tyrant, and Amora. The wild encounters will be Diglett, Omanyte, Kabuto, Dunsparce, Roggenrola, Drillbur, Bunnelby, and rarely Aerodactyl. Hatching from 7km eggs during the event will be Cranidos, Shieldon, Turtuga, Archon, Tyrant, and Amora. And remember, you can only get 7km eggs from opening gifts from your friends. In field research for the event will be Dunsparce, Lileep, Anorith, Cranidos, Shieldon, Roggenrola, Drillbur, Turtuga, Archon, Bunnelby, Tyrant, and Amora. Also, some field research tasks will reward Mega Energy for Aerodactyl. For the raids, in 5-star raids will be Tornadus in its incarnate form up until the 3rd of August at 10 AM, and then Moltres will take over. In Mega raids will be Mega Aggron up until the 3rd of August at 10 AM, and then Mega Aerodactyl will be taking over. In 5-star Shadow raids will be Shadow Suicune on Saturdays and Sundays only, and in 5-star Shadow raids on the Shadow Raid weekend, seems like it could actually be Apex Lugia based on the Shared Skies season trailer, but this isn't confirmed as of yet. I will be going through which event Pokemon are worth focusing on later on in the video, so stay tuned for that. There will also be the option of purchasing a timed research for $2, which will get you 2 incubators, 1 super incubator, and encounters with event themed Pokemon. But is this ticket actually worth purchasing? I would say that if you want incubators, then this is not a bad deal, because the $2 is worth around 200 coins, and the value of the incubators that you get for this ticket is actually 500 coins. However, if you are purchasing this ticket just for the incubators, then I would recommend checking the in-game shop and the web store first, just to see if there's any better value bundles for incubators. Collection challenges will also be available, which will reward Stardust, event themed encounters, and Mega Energy for Aerodactyl. And there'll be event themed showcases throughout the event, so keep an eye out for those. So these are all the details, but how can you make the most out of this event? Just before I get into the XP tips, it is worth noting that the Adventure Week will have a Team Go Rocket takeover from the 8th to the 12th, and we don't know the details for the event at the time of this recording, but there are some features that are always present during these events. And one of the main ones is the ability to remove frustration from your Shadow Pokemon by use of Charge TM. These Rocket Takeover events are the only time that allow you to do this, and they don't come around that often, so it is definitely worth preparing for it by looking through all of your Shadow Pokemon and tagging the ones that you want to remove frustration from, so when the event starts you can quickly run through them and remove frustration from them all. And if you don't have a lot of charge TMs, you will want to prioritize certain Pokemon to remove frustration from. Firstly, I would recommend useful Shadow Legendary Pokemon like Kyogre, Groudon, Mewtwo, Moltres, Raikou, Entei, etc. And also some other top Shadow Pokemon for raid attacking like Salamence, Metagross, Machamp, Rampardos, Rhyperior, Magnezone, Tyranitar, Weavile, etc. And for Pokemon for Go Battle League, you could go for Gligar, Swampert, Feraligatr, Poliwrath, Quagsire, Registeel, Dragonite, and Gyarados as some examples. Also, with the new takeover event, usually Giovanni has a new legendary Pokemon, and you do get a chance to challenge Giovanni, beat him, and catch that Pokemon. And we don't know exactly what this catchable legendary Pokemon will be, but it is quite likely that it will be Shadow Rayquaza, based on the fact that the last 2 takeover events have had Shadow Kyogre and Shadow Groudon, so this would make sense being the next Shadow Legendary. If so, it would definitely be well worth prioritizing getting Shadow Rayquaza, because it will be one of the best dragon and flying type raid attackers in the game. And based on the Shared Sky season trailer, we could assume it will be the debut of Apex Lugia in Shadow Raids during the Shadow Raid weekend. But what exactly is Apex Lugia? So Apex Lugia is essentially Shadow Lugia, but it does have a slightly different Shadow visual, and it will have a more powerful version of its signature move Aeroblast, known as Aeroblast Plus. And if you purify it, it gets access to Aeroblast Plus Plus, which is an even more powerful version of the move, but it is is worth noting that with the 20% shadow damage buff, it's still better off as a shadow for raid attacking. Both of the more powerful versions of Aeroblast aren't taken into consideration in Go Battle League, but instead they will work like regular Aeroblast. Lugia is currently ranked 42 in the Master League as a shadow and ranked 27 as a non-shadow, so it's actually better purified for the Master League, but it will be better as a raid attacker when kept as a shadow. These raids will be in person only and most likely pretty tough to beat, so it's worth gathering purified gems now to prepare for it. You can get purified gems by combining 4 shadow shards that you get from Team Go Rocket grunts, leaders, Giovanni, and from shadow raids. And remember, it does take 8 purified gems to subdue a shadow raid boss, and you can only use 5 per person, so you will need another person to help you subdue the raid boss. Remember also to party up so you can use party power to make the raid easier. Either way, if it does happen to be Apex Lugia or something else in the shadow raid weekend, I will have a video up on the channel when the information is released, so keep an eye out for it. With most of the bonuses focusing around XP for this event, it's a great opportunity for people who are trying to level up to level 50 and still need to grind out all of the XP. And as you get 2 times XP for spinning Pokestops and 5 times XP for spinning Pokestops you haven't spun before, this event will be a great time to try and play the game in a new place where there are plenty of Pokestops that you haven't spun before. This way you can use a lucky egg and get more than 2000 XP per new Pokestop spin. I recommend using your auto catcher during the event to automatically spin Pokestops to take advantage of the bonus XP whilst you can't use your phone, like if you're driving for example. This is also useful to have running in the background whilst you do raids, Team Rocket battles, etc. A good strategy for getting XP during an event like this with the 2 times hatch XP is to try and stack 12 kilometer eggs that you get from beating Team Go Rocket leaders, incubate them all and walk them enough to the point that they are close to hatching. Then when the event begins, you can use a lucky egg and then finish hatching them to get 4 times hatch XP. Using a lucky egg and the 2 times hatch bonus, you will get 16,000 XP per 12 kilometer egg hatched. So for a batch of 12, that'll be almost 200,000 XP. And regarding XP, it's also worth entering any Pokestop showcases that you see, because you can get some XP and Stardust just for taking part, and you can get some premium items if you place highly. When it comes to candy, you can Mega Evolve a Pokemon that shares the type with the Pokemon you're catching to increase the amount of candy, Candy XL, and XP that you get per catch. And with this event having a fossil Pokemon theme, most of the featured Pokemon have a rock typing, so I would recommend Mega Evolving a rock type like Aerodactyl, Tyranitar, or Diancie. And if you don't have either of them, luckily Mega Aerodactyl will be in Mega Raids during this event, so it's a good chance to get that. Also, if you can, it's worth using a Pokemon that you have at max Mega level because it will get you more candy, XP, and chance for Candy XL. For the 35 Platinum medals that you need to get to level 49 in Pokemon Go, here are some that you could work on during this event. With all of the rock type spawning, it's a great chance to work on your Platinum Hiker medal. And as there are XP bonuses for spinning Pokestops, this will be a good chance to work on your Sightseer and Backpacker Platinum medals as well. With the egg hatching XP bonus, it could also be worth hatching some eggs to work on your Platinum Breeder medal. And with showcases being available, it could be worth going for your Showcases Star Platinum medal, which is the only way to get an encounter with PhD Pikachu, and trying to find more rural Pokestop showcases where there are not a lot of people entering is a great way to improve your chance of winning. And with that said, which event Pokemon are worth focusing on? Firstly, Omanyte and Kabuto will be available, and whilst not meta relevant, these Pokemon are required for a part of the Let's Go Meltan special research, so if you haven't completed it yet, then this is a great event to pick up these Pokemon. Roggenrola will be available, and its evolution Gigalith is the 14th best rock type attacker and a decent budget pick for a rock type attacker because Roggenrola is fairly common. It is worth noting that it does want legacy move Meteor Beam to be at its best, which would require an elite charge TM to get. Drillbur is a good Pokemon to go after because Excadrill is the 14th best ground type attacker and the 19th best steel type attacker, and it's even better in its shadow form, so if you do have a shadow Excadrill, it could be worth getting some candy from catching these Drillbur from this event. Excadrill is also ranked 103 in the Master League. Bunnelby might also be worth picking up because its evolution Diggersby is ranked 102 in the Great League with 0, 15, 13 IVs. Aerodactyl could be worth going after because Mega Aerodactyl is the 5th best rock type attacker, but it is less of a priority if you have access to Mega Tyranitar and Mega Diancie already. We also have Lileep and Anorith in field research, and whilst not meta relevant, much like Omanyte and Kabuto, there is a part of the Let's Go Meltan research that requires you to catch either of these, so a good chance to get them. Cranidos is well worth going after because Rampardos is the 7th best rock type attacker, and it's the 2nd best in its shadow form and number 1 in terms of DPS. Shieldon will also be available, and Bastiodon is ranked 8 in the Great League with 0, 15, 14 IVs, and unfortunately Shieldon will only be available from eggs or research during this event, meaning that it will be difficult to get a low attack attack IV because both eggs and research have a 10-10-10 IV floor. So you could try a mirror trade with someone to reduce the attack IV if you want the perfect PvP IVs. Tyrant is worth going after because Tyrantrum is the 10th best rock type attacker. And Amora is a good one for Go Battle League because Aurorus is ranked 55 in the Great League with 0, 12, 13 IVs, and it is ranked 44 in the Ultra League with 0, 15, 15 IVs. When it comes to the raids, Moltres could be worth going after because it is the 26th best fire type attacker, but it is one of the best in its shadow form where it is the 8th best fire type attacker. So if you already have a shadow Moltres, it could be worth raiding Moltres to get more candy to power up that shadow. Mega Aggron might be worth going after if you haven't Mega evolved one before because it is the 9th best steel type attacker. And like I mentioned previously, Mega Aerodactyl could be worth raiding, but if you are limited with your raid passes, you could use them on something else and you could try and get all the Mega energy you need for Aerodactyl from field research. And also, if you do want to know what are some of the rarest Pokemon in Pokemon Go, then I recommend checking out this video next.